Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us again today on Champions Digest. We are so blessed and privileged to have a great man. I sincerely lack words to describe him. To many, he is an engineer. To many, he's a doctor. To some, he's a banker. He's also a farmer. Some people even call him Grown on the Rock. That is to name after the book he wrote. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited today to have with us Engineer Dr. Adewoye. Good afternoon, sir. Good day, sir. So nice to have you on board. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and nice for having me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, so to begin this conversation this afternoon, we want to leverage on your wealth of experience and how God has helped you in the journey of life. To talk to people, especially those who are struggling with what life entails and how these ones can actually be encouraged. Yeah, so sir, to begin, we would like to just give us just a brief about you, something probably we don't know yet that you'd like to share with us.
I doubt if there is anything that you don't know about me yet. Anyway, and I believe you've captured it all in your brief introduction. At least my name, Adewale Adewoye. You know, that's just basically what it is. And then I grew up from Aguare at this local government area of Oyo State here. Okay, and I had my primary and secondary education in there. Okay, I had my first degree with the University of Ilorin in agricultural engineering, and my master's in agricultural engineering at the University of Ibadan, where also I had my PhD in year 2002, 2003.
Wow.
And beyond that, I have an MBA of the Obafemi Awolowo University.
That's fine.
I'm a Korean registered engineer.
Yes, yes.
And also an associate chartered management accountant, United Kingdom.
Beautiful.
Yes, I'm a global chartered management accountant, USA. Going by career, I started my career with Oyo State government as agricultural engineer to one of the local governments.
Interesting.
Before I joined banking.
Wow.
In year 2004. Thereabout, and I joined banking in Guaranty Trust Bank. I was there for about 12 years. I work in all the states of the southwestern Nigeria. I also had the similar career with Access Bank.
Wow.
And I was the regional manager for Stanbic IBTC at a point as well.
Wow.
Okay, but now I've left banking, so I'm now into something different. Okay, I'm into something different now. Apart from my personal business, I work as a general manager in one of the top agribusiness conglomerates in Nigeria, somewhere around Lagos there.
Beautiful.
And I think it's been good. That's about that. I live in Ibadan with my family, married with children.
That's
to
fine.
the glory of God.
That's fine.
So that's about Adewale Adewoye.
Thank you very much, sir. I think, and I also try to say I like the progression. You have physically helped us to talk about this. Thank you very much, sir. So, sir, today we want to talk about overcoming limiting beliefs. Overcoming limiting beliefs, the mindset shift to greatness. Let me begin by asking, sir, what's your perspective about this? What are limiting beliefs?
Well, that's a very big, it's a very big concept. It's a very big question.
Yes, sir.
And it's quite accurate. It's important. It's on point. It's something that all of us need to reflect on and probably overcome at one point or the other. Especially for someone like me, that I described myself as a human lithophite. I'll still talk about that. Someone that has a very humble social, financial, and economic background. That is to polish it. If you want to make it raw, someone that has a very poor background, and also possibly someone that grew from a rural area, so to say, where you have limited opportunities, where you cannot see so much to encourage you to dream and to vision. So for such people like us, there are a lot of limiting beliefs. And for me, the origin of limiting beliefs is basically traditional, and then by parenting or bringing, and the circumstances and the environment where we grew up from. We determine the kind of belief systems that we have, and in a way that will limit a whole lot of us, in terms of how much of visioning and dreams, we can have in life. So basically, I can say the circumstances of growth, the environment of growth and parenting, growing up when we are being formed, as a child, that in a way determine the kind of belief system that we have. And when you say limiting beliefs, yes, this is a kind of unconscious, self-acclaimed potential that everyone may reach at one point or the other. That will limit the way you aspire, the kind of thing, the kind of endeavor you can embark on in life, the kind of things you can dream of, and all that. Why? Because of the circumstances of your birth, circumstances around your growth when you are being formed, circumstances around your parenting, and the environment where you grow up from. So that is basically how I can describe limiting possibilities.
All right, sir. But how does this have impact on one's mindset? Because I learned that mindset is key, especially on one's journey to greatness. How does this belief have impact on our mindset?
Yes. There is this metamorphosis about what you see determines what you become. Actually, when you talk about visioning has so much to do with your experience, what you have seen. If you have never have some experience in life, it will limit the kind of dreams, that you can have. So, for example, growing up in the small town that I grew up from,
Yes, sir.
I've never seen, the first time I have to journey to Ibadan, with in the company of my dad, when I insisted he must buy some books for me, and, at a point he brought me to Ibadan. And, seeing multitude of people, seeing cars, seeing good roads, looking at the gate of University of Ibadan, I practically became lost because I've never imagined, human being are that numerous. When I go to Dubai, Bodija, and all that, I've never imagined a city as large as that. I've never imagined the gates, of a university even without even entering it at all. So, but that day, because of that orientation, because of that trip only, my mindset changed, completely. Why? Because of what I saw. If I had never had the opportunity of that journey, growing up in secondary school, perhaps it would have probably limited my dreams. It would have probably limited my aspirations. Okay. And when I see all this, in a way, it has helped, to vision, for someone to have an aspiration because of what you see at one point or the other, and that is a journey. It's not it's not an end in itself, because from time to time you begin to have experiences, and these experiences, depending on how you process them, determine how you vision and revision, to aspire to become whatever you want to be in life.
Thank you very much, sir. As you answer those questions, I was tempted to ask that when is a belief said to be limiting? Because
Okay.
there
Yeah.
are yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, all of us have this inherent potential to believe either in ourselves, in our abilities, believe in our parent, believe in a system, believe in our pastor, believe in our environment, believe in a situation, or believe in some circumstances. Okay, and when we are growing up, especially our parents tell us stories of our antecedent, how we grow up, how we come to be whom you are. Sometimes we ask questions and all that. All these questions, all these experiences tends to create a kind of belief system in us. In fact, some of our parents will tell us the story of how they got to become whom they are becoming, or how the kind of experience they had in life, how they cross such hurdles. Unconsciously, by the time they are sharing all these things, they are planting a belief system in us, in a way. And unconsciously, we also begin to expect ourselves to cross such hurdles in life or to experience the same thing. So unconsciously, we have a belief system. And once we have that belief system, then it becomes a tug of war for you now to change that belief system if you see life differently from what you have been told, from the way you have been raised, for the what have been formed inside of you growing up as a child and all that.
Wow, thank you very much, sir. Now, talking in line with direction that we are discussing at the moment, sir. Please, sir, can you share with us some strategies that will be very important for maybe from your home perspective and your storyline, how one can overcome these limiting beliefs?
Okay, growing up as a child, if you enter my hometown today, Aguare, if you ask for the house of Adewale Adewoyin or Dr. Adewale Adewoyin, perhaps maybe people might not quickly connect with that. But if you mention Adewale Alakpere, it will quickly strike a chord because everyone knows me to be Adewale Alakpere growing up as a child. Why? Because, I saw that as an opportunity for me. I was skilled in all those crafts, weaving baskets, making mortar and pestle and all that. And also coupled with the fact that my parental background is primarily I was expected to enjoy some pampering, as the first child and all that. But the reverse was the case for me. I can say that I suffered like a drum, growing up as a child. And suffering that suffering brought a kind of opportunity for me,
Beautiful.
to see what I can do within myself to be able to overcome that kind of uncles and all that, that go out, they went to the university, they come back on vacation, come back home, the way we admire them, the way we love to interact with them and all that. So I had decided inside my own heart that whatever it's going to take, I should also get a university education. So that was one of the reasons why I became Adewale Alakpere. I weave basket in dozens, and all that. In fact, my admission letter to the University of Ilorin was offered to me sitting down weaving my basket on the veranda of their house. The
Wow.
postmaster, the late Mr. Lala, just came in that day and offered me a letter, and say, you have a letter from the post office. I said, letter? Who is writing letter to me? I've never written one before. But it's good enough. When I picked the letter and I look at it, I saw it was my own handwriting.
Wow.
In those days, when you are filling JAM form, you do 2 self-addressed envelope that you will include in the form when you are submitting and all that. So that in case you succeed, they will use the same envelope that you are self-addressed, to send your letter to you. And I got the letter, I opened it. Lo and
Wow.
behold, it was an admission letter to
Wow.
University of Ilorin. I was surprised, I just put the letter beside myself there and I continued weaving my own basket. My daddy was coming in shortly after that, and I told daddy, daddy, mama ti mú mi. Kí ló ṣe tí wọ́n mú ẹ, that kind of, he didn't understand, but I have to explain to him, okay, this is an admission letter, to study agricultural engineering, University of Ilorin and all that. And the man said, Ọlọ́run ṣeun. But before you even could move, he busted into tears. The old man busted into tears right there in my presence, and he had to go inside. Why did he burst into tears? Because he knew that there is no background, there is no support, for this guy, to be sponsored in education. That was what brought about, him, but based on that experience, I have to, sit up, to continue to support myself, to aspire that kind of level of education that I had desire. And today I call myself human lithophyte. What is lithophyte? Lithophytes are plants that derive their livelihood on rock. That is an aberration. That is something that is not common. That is not something that will be expected. Today, you see some plants in their natural habitats, struggling to grow. Even some, you put fertilizer, you wet them, you put water and all that, but they can still not grow up to become, as big as some of the giant plants that you see sometimes on the rock, growing up to be the best that they can ever come to be. And some of them also fruit so well. So for all this situation, the most impossible situation, when you see someone that grew up in the most impossible situation and still achieve whatever God has designed him or her to achieve in life, then that is a little fight kind of a situation. So if you look at that background, they are limiting in a way, because there is no way you can compete favorably with your colleagues outside there. And even the environment that breeded you by the time you got into the University of Illinois, and when other colleagues are talking and they're chatting and they're making jest and all that, you just put your hand on your back and you're looking at them. You are afraid of contributing because of inferiority complex. That has been planted inside of you because of the environment where you grow. But of course, all this still has to be have to be overcome if we ever get to where we need to go to. So trying to overcome
Yes,
these limiting beliefs.
Yes, sir.
Now, I call something tripod of success, and the tripod of success comes as godliness, good character, good education. I call it 3G, and that is the tripod, to overcome any form of terrible situation, so to say. Once you have these three ingredients, it's be very easy to navigate through all the odds. But I don't want to make it an abstract. Maybe with time, I will speak to one to them one after the other, and then we can explore them further. Because success is opportunity plus preparation. That's my personal definition of success. Success is opportunity plus preparation. If you ever succeed in life about anything, you have to prepare, and that is an independent variable. And then the other thing, you will see opportunities. Opportunity will always come, but several times it will slip by if we are never prepared, for such opportunity. When you see people that are successful today in one endeavor or the other, perhaps they had prepared, either consciously or unconsciously. When the opportunity came, they took advantage of it, and today we celebrate them as being successful.
Thank you very much. I will still come back to this tripod of success, really. But there's something you mentioned during the course of your discussion, sir, talking about no support system. I have no one to help me.
Yeah.
Talking about inferiority complex. Then, yeah, I would like you to just touch that. When you had no one to help, what was the situation like? How were you able to overcome challenges, situations when you had no one to help? Because that's what everyone is saying today. Nobody is ready to help.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You see, when a problem is known, I believe it is half solved. When a problem is known, I believe it is half solved. And to overcome limiting belief as well, one of the things that we need to do is to admit that there are limitations around us. If you don't see that and admit that there are limitations, or that a situation is limiting, there is no way you can make attempt, to seek solutions to defy those odds. So one of the things that I believe helped me as an individual to shape my paradigm, to shape my mindset, is to admit early enough in life that I have no one. I have no one. And one of the things that inspired me was the story of that young man in John chapter 5. He was been there for 38 years, helpless. When he had opportunity to meet with Jesus, just ask him, what do you want me to do for you? And what was his response? I have no one. His life, his brain, everything, his mind has been programmed about men. He's been expecting men to come to his aid. Uncles, nieces, nephews, everybody, parents have even, deserted him for 38 years. But he has been expecting that when the angel comes to ruffle the water, someone should be there to carry him into it. He has waited 38 years for human being. So when Jesus, even the creator of heaven and earth, had opportunity to meet with him, he could not answer a direct question. What do you want me to do for you? I want to be able to walk. But all he could say was, I have no one. And because they had no one, someone arose for him. So I had that mindset, early enough in life. And then to put it in a Yoruba, kind of a language, they'll tell me, that doesn't mean that I don't have brothers, I don't have sisters, I don't have uncle, I don't have nieces. That doesn't mean I don't have parents, father or mother. No. But the situation that I am and where I am going, all these people that I have around me cannot help me. So if you have that kind of a mindset, it will shape your behavior. It will shape your taste. It will shape your hunger. It will shape the way you read, the way you study, the way your ambition, because already you know that you have no one, you have no helper, you have nobody, to assist. The reason why a lot of people are still gasping for breath of survival today, the reason why a lot of people that have great potential are still suffering today is because they had thought that someone somewhere should help them. Some of them have uncles and brothers or parents abroad, expecting dollars to be sent to them or expecting one help or the other. So, and as a result of that, even at all when they don't receive this help, they get offended. They get offended. But, contrary to beliefs, no one owes you anything.
That's true.
And once you have that mindset growing up early in life that I have no one, it will shape behavior. This is one of the things that really helped me. So anywhere you see me, even when I enter an auditorium in church, I want to sit down quietly somewhere because I have no one. When I was in the university, when riot and aluta, all those aluta that we used to do and all that, when we are shouting and students are, demonstrating and all that, I will not be in front, I will not be in back. I will be in the middle because I have no one. When I see my colleagues in the school going to stadium, playing here and there and all that, because I had an ambition, I wanted to have a first class. So I always remember I have no one. So I take my time to study very, very hard. Sometimes also when I had challenges paying school fees and all that, because I had no one, even in the university, I take my hoe. I look for neighboring farms around the university in the permanent side there to look for jobbers, to job for farmers and then, to get something done so that I can supplement myself. Why? Because I have no one. My father has his own farm. I also created my own farm as well. Why? Because I have no one. And also, when you see me sitting down weaving basket, well, while other children are playing football around the house and all that. I also wanted to play football, but I cannot afford it. So while others are playing football and joking all around and all that, I would just take my palm branches and start weaving baskets. Why? Because I have no one. So that really shaped my behavior. It shapes my mentality, my attitude, and my hunger. My passion, my tenacity. To really achieve whatever I've decided in life.
Thank you very much. This is really inspiring. Now, going straight with to the tripod of success. You said the first thing is godliness.
Yeah.
How is this a factor?
Thank you so much. Religiosity is not spirituality. In this part of the world, I have noted that we are so religious. And in fact, so many of us are so churchy to the point that we hold positions and then at one point or the other, we tend to be deceived that because we are churchy, we are active in the service in the church and all that, because of that, we are more relevant than the other. No. There are so many more people in the church today or in any spiritual organizations that perhaps are not that visible, but they are closer to God than some of us that are holding position and they are getting result. So religiosity is not spirituality. Number two, we tend not to get serious with God until we need him. But it's a journey. It's important for us to have a mindset shift and to achieve in life, to get serious with God as early as possible. Of blessed memory taught me how to fast, even right from primary school. How did he do that? On a morning, he will give me my normal stipend money, and he will beg me, practically beg me, please, Wally, please fast today. Even if just till 12, even if it's 1, this is your money. I'll keep something for you. We'll use everything to motivate and inspire me to fast. And when I come back from school at 1 or thereabout, my eyes will have been red of hunger. I want to eat by all means. What would the old man do? The old man will carry me on his bike and say, okay, let's quickly go and check something on the farm. We'll come back now. What was he trying to do? To have a delay tactics for me to extend my fast, so that I can, was trying to train me to do without food. And when I come back, he will speak to me. I'm sorry I'm putting you through this because I know you will need this in life. Did I have to fast later in life or not? Yes, I have to. But if you had not trained me to do so, it would have been difficult. I was in a training program Guarantee Trust Bank, in Lupechu there, and we're having a classroom training. And when we're discussing, giving responses and all that, one of my colleagues stood up and said she has never fasted in her life for any reason. What is she fasting for? She has money, she has food, she has this, she has that, and all that. And I look at myself, I almost busted into tears. Because some of us, until we go on some spiritual adventure, we don't get what we want out of life.
That's true.
My final year in the University of Illinois in year 2000, no one told me, to go on a spiritual adventure. Why? Because I look at it, I wanted to have a first class, but unfortunately I could not. But I've seen I will have a very strong 2-1 and all that. But I felt so empty. So I asked myself, God, what is the next thing?
That's
I
fine.
went on 40 days fast and prayer. No man told me, no prophet told me. All I was saying is, God, I want to see you. What is the next thing? What is the next step? So in fact, that was the significant activity for my last semester at the University of Illinois, but I never regretted it. Taking God serious as early as possible in life. When you do all that, you sow a seed into your future. And I can tell you convincingly that there is nothing that is good in my hand today that is not traceable to such investment that God has helped me to make in the time past.
Beautiful.
Some people see NYSC as an opportunity to express themselves, to express their freedom and all that. I rather saw it differently. That was the first time I ever in my life read through the Bible during my NYSC. That was the first time that I ever did 3 days continuous fast that we call biri and all that. There is no way all those little gestures, it's not because it is in perfect holiness or righteousness, no, but because there is a hunger, there is a thirst for God inside of me. God himself helped me out at one point or the other because of all those investments. This is what I termed as spirituality. Even as grown as we are family men now and women and all that. Can we sleep the way our children are sleeping? Even as men, can we sleep the way the entire family sleeps at night? No. Sometimes you wake up at the middle of the night, you have a burden in your heart because you know you are carrying a generation, around you. Your wife, your children, what do? You look for a private place. You want to cry unto heaven. You want to pray. You want to pray for them. You want to pray for yourself. You want to pray that you don't fail as a man and all that. This is what I say as spirituality. Getting close to God, getting intimate with God to the point wherein God speaks to you, you can hear his voice. You can hear direction. Even in the midst of rowdiness and all that, you have a father in him. You are so close to the point that you have a direction in God. So this is what I mean by spirituality. But unfortunately today, I don't see so much of our generation, taking, not all anyway, but so many people believe in all the church activities, but that may not necessarily culminate into spirituality. So if one got to stand up for you, I think spirituality is one of the key elements, that especially for someone like me that grew up, poor, grew up in a very challenging background. Your Bible will say, if you don't have anything at all, don't miss God. Don't miss out on God. Because that will go a long way, to give decoration and dimension to your life. That is number one. The second G is good character. Good character. The root determines the fruit.
That's fine.
The root is the character, while the fruit is personality. People today celebrate the personality, your charisma, the way you laugh, the way you smile, the way you appear, your spoken English and everything. But there is something much more important, and that is the character, that is the roots. And if some of the societal challenge that we see today, societal menaces that we see today, are partly products of bad moral or wrong character makeup. Some of us as parents, there are some days you wake up that you don't have sufficient cash on you, and you still go out, you're still radiant, you're still appearing prosperous and all that, and you're still believing that things will be fine. So some of the guys in this generation cannot cope with that. When they have lack for only 1 or 2, 3 days, they begin to think of alternative, and they begin to think of several unholy way to make their life better.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think we have a lot of Yahoo today, fraudsters all around? When you go and look at all these guys, some of them are Christians. Some of them are master's degree holders. Some of them have PhD. Why? They only grew up, they have skill, they have academic qualifications, but they don't have strong moral framework for them to be able to be resilient to face their life and make things legitimate. Today, when you look at all our streets, you see harlots all around, beautiful girls, prospective girls that have good, perhaps maybe they have good homes. Some of them have good degrees and all that, but today they're on the street as harlots. Why? They finish academic degrees, they could not get a job for 1, 2, 3, 4 years. There's no way for them to confront their future other than to sell what they have. That is one of the reasons why you have it. So we can buy it. Yoruba people will say BP for
It's true.
And those are the kind of things that some of us that grew up a very challenging environment has taught us some resilience, have some good character, some mannerism, some moral standard, some moral principles that cannot be easily be influenced. Some of us Christians that do not have good moral background, when they get out or when some people travel out of their domain, you find out that a lot of people mess up. Things that they cannot do in their domain, by the time they travel out of something, you hear all manners of stories around them. Why was that? Because of poor moral or character or upbringing. So one of the things we must look out for if we really want to succeed in life is what? Good character. Aptitude will get you a job, but it is attitude that will help you to do the job. No matter how skillful, no matter how professional we are, something that we must embrace. And the children that we are also breeding now, one of the things we must teach them, one of the things we must impart in them is good character, good home training. So many parents have subjected the total upbringing of their children to the teachers in school. I do tell people academic is not the same thing as education. Somebody can be academically, inclined, you have academic degrees, but they're not educated. So they are two different things entirely, and if you are only educated in school, you are uneducated.
That's true.
Because education is far, far, far beyond academics. And the other leg to academics is this parts of good character we talk about, which are exclusive preserved for parents, to really impact. But unfortunately, so many parents also have questionable character framework. So it becomes a complex problem. So for us to succeed in life, for us to have for us to overcome our limiting beliefs and all that, it must be accompanied with good character. Even irrespective of whether whoever is looking or whoever is watching and all that. Okay, and the third one is good education.
It's fine.
I've mentioned that academic is not education,
Yes,
but good education is also a major parameter. I say good education. Today, before now, we celebrate first degree, master's degree. In fact, we celebrate academic degrees and all that. But today, it's a different ballgame.
Yes,
I'm a PhD holder. You are a PhD holder. In like 10, 15, 20 years ago, if you're a PhD holder, people worship you. People worship because of what you carry on your inside. But the reality of our time has shifted. In fact, today, the marketplace is no longer degree. It's not being shifted to professional qualification.
Wow.
If you go to any university, you have a degree in accounting. If you will work in any accounting firm, you must probably be chartered ACCA or CGME or ACME. They value that more than the academic degree that you have. That is the reality of the time that we are. What am I talking about? Good education. Not just passing through the wall of the academic institutions, but really learning things that will be relevant, to better our lives. For example, I'm a trained engineer, agricultural engineer. I have my first degree, second degree, and also my PhD. But today, what I use to better my lot, what I use, to survive, it's not necessarily my PhD in agricultural engineering. Beyond that, I've also reinvented myself, to have a career switch, into finance and accounting. Why? Because I have background in banking and finance. I went into MBA and I went to, into financial accounting. Today, I'm a chartered accountant.
Wow.
Despite the fact that I'm an agricultural engineer. Why? Because I've looked at the future, a good combination that will make me to be marketable. But as so many of our colleagues today, yes, a lot of people went into school, When you look at the courses, maybe because of jam issues and all that, a lot of the courses they went in to study, they didn't have passion for it. At the end of the day, they came out with probably very poor degree. And at the end of the day, they are carrying their CVs all around. They want someone to help them. It's become so difficult. So good education is one of the tripod that can help us to overcome limiting belief. When you have good education, you have put yourself in a position to be helped. So many people where I work today, I have vacancies. Let me even use that. I have vacancies, as in vacancies, but vacancies for qualified, experienced, good personnel. Sometimes you are ashamed, you are careful of collecting someone's CV to put them in a particular position, because perhaps they may not have the kind of mindset that you have, sometimes becomes difficult. Sometimes you want to help someone, you ask for their CV, when you look at it, it's not probably encouraged. It's not something you are proud to present to your management and all that. So what has happened? We have not, do justice to our academic or educational qualification. So it's one of those things. So I take those three pods as one of the guiding principles, to overcome all those limiting beliefs.
Wow, thank you very much. Godliness, good character, good education
Education,
is
yeah.
overcoming limiting beliefs. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing this with us today. Now you've been able to help us talk about this. I also want to believe, sir, that probably there's a place the role of self-awareness play. Because many people don't really know probably who they are. And that can also be a big challenge.
Yeah.
I would like you to please address this briefly, sir.
Thank you so much. I think I am of the school of thought that we are all like tea bag. We don't know how powerful we are until we find ourselves in hot water.
Interesting.
And you see, self-awareness is one of the most critical things that will help us to overcome limiting beliefs. Because if you don't even know what you carry as an individual, life will push you all around. If you don't know where you are going, every road leads, is a way for you. So, as you have rightly observed, self-awareness to know whom you are as an individual, what you are carrying on your inside is a major game changer. One of the first things I did growing up, in fact, let me say, when I got to Guarantee Trust Bank, one of the things that I did was, for the few challenges that I had, I went to look for books because I admitted that maybe I have something to change inside of me so that I can fit in properly into the system. So I stumbled on John Maxwell's book, Attitude is Everything.
That's fine.
And picking that book changed my life entirely. So when I'm talking to people, when I don't say anything about them, I say everything about me. Change myself and you change the world. And that is part of self-awareness. The second book that I read was A Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. I recommend that small book to anybody, anywhere. There is no way you read that book that you will not evolve, that it will not provoke you to know that, hey, you are creating you are created for a particular purpose. I do tell people when the sperm and the ovum were meeting that day, when daddy and mommy met, God did not make a mistake. It's only with human being that we have bastard. With God, there's no bastard. God does not make mistake. Some people perhaps did not get married legitimately, they have a child. Some people got married legitimately, did not have a child. God is not sleeping in heaven. So every human being is a product of grace. Every human being created by God is unique in his own way. And that uniqueness, we now have to find it out. Take, for example, as a parent, you have 2 or 3 children. When you look at them, their belief system, their character, what annoys them, their weaknesses, their opportunities, what threatens them, all of them are different, and their passion. So bringing them to be aware of what they are carrying on their inside is now a very significant power, for them to be able to realize their potential in life. The same thing with us. There are a lot of things that we do today as parents, even as adults, that we never thought we could achieve. But because we apply ourselves, we are aware that there is something inside of us that can overcome this, then we are able to overcome such feat. So self-awareness is a key element. So many today are living on inferiority complex because they are not yet aware of themselves.
Why?
They are not.
Some people cannot speak to the public today because they are not yet aware of what they are carrying on their inside. Some people can do great and mighty things, but because they are not yet aware, so there is no internal motivation, internal push for them to be able to launch out into greatness. And when you see such people, they are never in the forefront. You always want to take the back seat, not out of humility, but out of inferiority complex, because they are not yet aware of what they are carrying today. Look at some of us that probably are a bit visible in the society we belong, maybe church or thereabout and all that. But it's a function of self-awareness, because I know that I have something to contribute to this. I cannot just come down and be sitting down. Perhaps I can sing, maybe perhaps I can write song, maybe perhaps I can teach, maybe perhaps I can clean. You are aware that you can add value to nature and you are willing to do that. That's the reason why you are doing it. So in the same vein, it's important that we're aware of ourselves. And what usually happens that people are not aware of what they are carrying on the inside also may have something to do with the upbringing. Some people are brought up in an intimidating and self-depressing environment, where their voices were never allowed to be heard. So as a result of that, that's limited their thinking. That limited their approach to life. That limited tried with my parents. I can't raise my children 1/100, 1/100 portion of the way I was raised as a child. Because the way we were raised now, before you commit one small stupid mistake, you see knock on your head, or sometimes they ask you to kneel down, or senseless beating sometimes, or all manners of what we call child abuse today. So the way we are brought up, you can bring our children up that way today. And if you are not very careful, you just find out that if you terrorize them too much, they will go out into their shell. And at the end of the day, they will not be able to, come out to become whom God has designed them to be. So it's important that we encourage ourselves and our children also to be aware of what they are carrying on the inside by encouraging them, by asserting them, and then by helping them to realize whom they are.
Wow, thank you very much, sir, for sharing your thoughts this afternoon on our discussion on overcoming limiting beliefs. It's really been an engaging time. Yeah, but sir, what will be your final thoughts to someone out there who is depressed? Someone out there who just need hope? And say, I've heard you today and I'm ready to take steps. I'm ready to implement all you said.
Thank you. There is one man in Ibadan, somewhere around Ojo.
Yes, sir.
He's a bicycle repairer.
Yes, sir.
Around Ojo. Once you're approaching that Ojo roundabout from Songo, you will see this man on the right beside one petrol station. You can't miss him because it's in a very conspicuous area. And then you see pile up of bicycle in this man's shop. This man is very prominent that people bring bicycle from everywhere around Ibadan, even outside Ibadan, to repair.
Wow.
With him. I got to discover him when I had to repair my son's bicycle sometimes, a few years back. Do you know one good thing about this man is blind. He's a blind man. He cannot see, but he repairs bicycle and it's one of the best. In fact, let me say the best that I've ever seen in my own life. Do you know what else this man did was he recruited a small boy who could see but is lame to join him. That boy could not walk, but the boy could see. So he recruited that boy and they worked together. Whatever the man cannot see, the boy can see. Wherever the boy cannot move into, this man, knows it. When you give this man, when he say bring me 12 spanner, if you give him 13, he will tell you this is not 12, this is 13, bring 12. Why was, I never cease to be marveled with that scenario. There are too many of us that have our 2 eyes, our legs, our eyes, our brain, we have our certificate and all that, but we are not exploring our potential as much as that blind man there. Today, the man has 2 children in the university and is sponsoring them through that job. The man has a wife that he nurtures, that he take care of his own home. So many of us that have our 2 eyes and our legs, some of us are not probably being responsible well enough at home. And since that day, it used to inspire me that what excuse does anyone have?
That's fine.
What excuse does anyone have? For me, I believe in God, yes. I believe in grace, but I believe everyone has equal opportunity. But the journey for us to get there may be different.
That's fine.
But what do we see today? People imitate others. People run another man's race. And that is the reason why a lot of people are injured on their journey to fulfillment, to greatness today, because they are not running their own race. Because your friend relocated to the UK, to the US, or to Canada does not necessarily mean you should do the same thing. There are too many people in this land that are doing well and they are prospering. Some of us have not relocated and we prosper. We thank God.
Yes.
For everything, every step we do.
Yes.
Life is like a ladder. You take a step after the other. And every attempt for you to jump up, you find yourself on the floor. However, that ladder must be leaning on the right wall. Because if your ladder is not leaning on the right wall, when you climb up, you get to the top, you find out that you are in the wrong destination. You have to come down again and start all over again. So what am I trying to say in essence is life is something we approach, with so much passion, with so much faith, with so much hope, and running our own race without, trying to imitate. Today, we talk about economic challenges in Nigeria. Yes, inflation, hyperinflation. Today, we talk about exchange rate. All those insecurity is there. Food scarcity is there. When you look at all those problems, they are overwhelming. Some people are already dead as cowards because they've seen all those problems. But do you know so many people are making their millions on a daily basis because of these problems?
Yes, sir.
If all you see is problem, all you will see is just problem. But in the midst of this chaos, if all you see is opportunity, you will make a great deal of fortune out of it. Today, people are making new businesses are springing up. People are making their money, even despite the hardship we see. So that is one leg to it. The other leg is to surround yourself with people that inspires you, not people that will demoralize you. And this is where mentorship and coaching now comes in. The idea of coaching in our own area is when you see someone trying to move closer to you, is they want to bring their problem. When they don't have money, they want to ask you. When they have one particular challenge, they want to ask you, they want to bring in their burden on you. That is not coaching, that's not mentoring.
It's fine.
But when you see good thing in someone's life, you simply want to move closer to find out what are the strategies this man is using, to navigate all this trouble in life. And today, like me, I know there are so many that have similar background like I am, that I'm trying to survive, that are sweating through life and all that. If you can only run your race, and believe in yourself, you find out that you can actually navigate, through and make it in life. So for as many there that are depressed, that cannot see hope, I was once there, that the future did not only appear, the future, was not in existence. Because I was so overwhelmed. Where do I even go? Where do I even start from? Background is poor, no parental help, no financial support, and everything was just against me growing up as a child. But today, I'm not yet there, but I give God the glory. We make one progress upon the other, one progress upon the other, and at the same time, through that journey, there are challenges that will always come one way or the other too. God help us to surmount those challenges, and then we live a day at a time. But today we give God the glory that at least we were not looking what we have been through as individuals.
Yeah, not
Thank
looking at
you.
what you have been through. Maybe on a final note, sir, what inspired you in writing the book Grown on the Rock?
Okay, thank you so much. Brilliant question. It's just out of inspiration that it's not only me that have humble background, that is struggling. It's not only me that had tough time in life, because I could even remember some of my colleagues that we were growing together then. Some of my colleagues that we went to take farm jobs together then. When I compare myself with some of them, yet I can say that I have better grade than some of them. So I knew there are too many people that are gasping for breath of survival like me. It's not only me that had problem growing up. It's not only me that have bad family background. No, there are too many people. But so many people do not know how to approach it. Some people are looking up to people to help them. Some people are already depressed and all that. So I just felt, okay, since I've been able to navigate through and get to where I am going now. I think I have a story to share to encourage someone somewhere. Maybe perhaps when someone reads my story, perhaps it's going to be an inspiration for the person not to give up, to say that if Adewale Adewoye could have this kind of opportunity, there is hope for me. That is the whole idea about grown on the rock. And when you say grown on the rock, it's as simple as seeing seeing a plant growing on the rock. That is an abnormality. Plants are meant to grow on the soil. But some of us grew on the rock, and we are still growing, thriving on the rock. Whereas there are too many people that are on their natural habitat, on the floor, on the ground, on the soil, but yet they are not growing. So just to tell the world that, hey, it's possible to grow on the rock, thrive on the rock, survive on the rock, and be fruitful on the rock. And Yoruba will call it Oma Atapata Dide. That you had everything working against you growing up as a child, but nevertheless, you can still make it in life. So that was the inspiration that brought about Grown on the Rock
and that has really inspired many of us, because I was opportune to read the book, and I also read your book on marriage and
okay, wife material.
Wife material, yes, wife material. Yeah. It has really been
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we are so blessed and privileged to have you today. One of the key takeaways today is one of your wrapping words. It's possible to grow on the rock. And man has no excuses. Excuses are just lies we tell ourselves. And so if you have some things that are working against you, the background does not really determine where you are going. Oh. And you are a testimony of such. We are so blessed and privileged to have received this inspiration from you today. And we know that this will go a long way in the lives of those who listen to this. Thank you very much once again, sir, for coming on board.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I see it as a real privilege, and I will not take it for granted that you extended the invite to me. It's a privilege, and I so much appreciate you for that opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right.